What I want to say, and I honestly, I understand I'm preaching to the choir here. Everything about this is wrong. You know it, and I know it. I actually know it better than most because I helped build that organization. And that's why I am almost the perfect person to discern what is normal and what is abnormal in terms.
Erika Kirk is a plant.
Charlie wrote you letters.
I know.
Every week?
Every Saturday. So he would turn his phone off to honor the Sabbath. He would come in, open the junk drawer. Everyone has a junk drawer. Open the junk drawer, said Shabbat Shalom, put it in there, turn the phone off, slam the door, and he felt so free because he was unreachable.
Are you kidding me? Shabbat Shalom. They are rubbing it in our faces at this point. Erika Kirk is a honeypot for sure. I'm sorry, the fact she can say that with a smile on her face shows that she was in on it. Not to mention what Charlie Kirk said in his final days. How about those 12 Israeli phones at the UVU campus that Candace Owens mentioned? Nope, they placed her in. They placed her in to replace Charlie to continue the pro-Zio propaganda, because otherwise he would have taken everyone at Turning Point with him. Charlie turned their back on them in the final months. Turning Point USA put Ben Shapiro on his show after they took him out, and they're literally all sitting here smiling. Everything that Charlie said in his final days just proved him right. He was betrayed by everybody.
Thanks for being with us. Is there an investigation into a wider plot?
Sean, thanks so much for having me. And because President Trump and the Attorney General have prioritized resources to this all-important investigation, we're dedicating every asset.
This movement, this revival, you thought you could do that by murdering me. You got my body. You didn't get my soul.
That's fake. How often do you see a woman who's completely covered in makeup crying and sobbing without a single sliver of mascara just running down her face? That's called a TV cry. That's what she was doing on Fox News with Jesse Waters as she tried to hook viewers in with this emotional story about her love for Charlie and his love for her, as she bizarrely made sure that everyone knew that Charlie had pursued her, but not the other way around.
Candace Owens has once again blown up social media. One post, one video, a few minutes, and suddenly the internet is whispering about the FBI possibly secretly keeping an eye on Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk's widow and the new face of Turning Point USA. Candace doesn't shy away. She claims that there's something fishy behind Charlie's passing, something the media seems to be ignoring, and that the feds are probably keeping quiet too.
We're not being told the truth. That's what I'm getting at. We are not being told the sensible truth. Was his phone call to Erika only 10 seconds? Like you just drop that news and keep it moving? Or was he already on the phone with Rob McCoy? What happened? Okay, I need clarification because every day that goes on, it feels to me like Turning Point is engaged in a cover-up. And there's no other way to say this. There was no other ways. I don't care who at Turning Point tweets. I literally do not care. I will breathe fire on all of you. I know how these events work. Why was this event confirmed so quickly when it was requested so late? Answer these questions. I need answers to these questions to understand what happened on that day. Because the way that Mikey moves is like he knows where he's going. It's like they know where they're going to meet. And we know that they got to the hospital very quickly because Blake Neff says elsewhere, they got into the hospital within 25 minutes, okay? They knew, that means they knew instantly where the hospital was. They knew which direction to go to, the communication that's flowing. I think Frank said he was on the phone while they were in the car with his family members. Don't quote me on that. So all of this happened. You instantly got to the hospital, which by the way, the hospital was put on lockdown when Charlie came in. That's what we were told. They let Mikey and the Turning Point boys in. Maybe that's true. It sounds like it is true. Obviously, we know that you were there when they came out and said that Charlie had died, according to Blake Neff. And according to Frank Turek's testimony, but a lot of this little stuff is not making sense, okay? It's not making sense. And you cannot tell me that to dispel this rumor, right, by letting people see the call logs, by letting people see the video footage, would somehow hurt the case.
A seemingly tragic story turned into a real political earthquake, bringing with it doubts, emotions, and unanswered questions. At first, many thought Candace Owens was just looking for clout, until the strange details began to emerge, details that the public could no longer ignore.
Erika Kirk, the former reality show star and romance actress who modeled for President Trump and who wasted absolutely no time after her husband's death in rushing into the limelight and soaking it all in. She stepped right back into her role as a reality TV star, playing the part of a grief-stricken widow, as hundreds of millions of dollars and hundreds of millions of shekels that her husband wanted nothing to do with are thrown around his organization, and thrown into the wallets of the people that are covering up his assassination. Remember, it was Erika Kirk's mother who was geofencing Charlie's memorial service and Turning Point USA events in general. TPUSA connected churches so that she could identify people, Christians, on behalf of the Israeli regime so they could then be plastered with pro-Israel propaganda. And it's Erika's father who's tied to Raytheon and Israel's US-funded Iron Dome and the Israeli regime itself. This is the cast of characters, or at least part of it, in this Israeli-run reality show that we're all watching here. That's what this is. Erika Kirk's latest role on TV. It's her new show. And just this week, she premiered the latest episode of her new show in this interview with Jesse Waters from Fox News, where she offered up a whole lot of crocodile tears and perpetuated the false FBI-driven narrative around her husband's death.
There were deleted scenes. There were witness accounts that didn't match. There were rumors of federal involvement that no one was able to explain. Within hours, the hashtag Erika Kirk Truth was trending. Candace's live stream clips reached millions of views. And the question on everyone's lips was, what did Candace touch on that made so many people so nervous?
That up for just a second, because it's really around here. His bone was so healthy and the density was so impressive that he's like the Man of Steel, that we just went, something's not right. Something not right. A lot of stuff's not right. I just don't know why a surgeon would be saying something that actually only the medical examiner, somebody that specializes in forensics, could really contribute. Yes, a surgeon can tell you, or actually any person with common sense can tell you, that your bone density is better when you're younger. But this seemed a little bit too performative. Now, I can tell you the part that he is telling the truth about is that Charlie's neck indeed did stop the bullet without question. Okay. And this is going to dispel a lot of theories that are out there. And I'm telling you this 100%. Charlie Kirk was shot from the front, and the bullet did not exit. And at least a fragment of the bullet was recovered from his neck. And I'm going to tell you exactly where it was recovered from. I have fact-checked this information from multiple sources now. I've actually been sitting on this for a little bit over a week. Right around here. So think about almost in line with your shoulder blade, right in the center. Now, why is that helpful? Because it gives us a bullet trajectory, okay? We went in here where you saw that, and it was stopped, and a fragment.
Now, why is this so important? Because it gives us a sense of the path of the story, where it started, where it stopped, and how the little clues were found. And this is why many people believe it seems like the federal agencies, not Erika, are the ones explaining things behind closed doors. Because history tells us one thing. When Candace Owens starts pulling a string, powerful people usually start to worry. And this time, that string seems to lead straight to Erika Kirk.
Have thought that he was raptured when he died. Why? Because he found out that you're trying to build the third temple with the Jews that wanted to take over his organization? When he died, he probably thought, wow, I was right. I said that these people were going to take me out, and now they've done it. And I don't say that to be funny. I say that to reflect just how absurd this entire Erika Kirk equation that we're looking at here really is. This woman is in the middle of a campaign to sell the official story of Charlie Kirk's death as Turning Point USA is carried off into the Zionist abyss by the people that she works for, by the people that she has always worked for. These people, the people who were told were the closest people on earth to Charlie Kirk, are trampling all over his legacy. And they're doing it with the help of the United States government and the corporate media and many others, including obviously the Israeli government that's also been out in force trying to sell the official Charlie Kirk narrative. Who's buying this? I'm not buying this. Are you? Of course not. And they know that. And that's exactly why these people at TPUSA do not want me talking about this. And not just me, but Candace Owens, anyone else who's poking around, asking too many questions, connecting too many dots, talking about it.
Because the more questions you ask, the more dots you connect, the more things don't add up. Before it all blew up, Erika Kirk was known as the gentle opposite of Charlie, the calmness next to his explosive energy. She wasn't the face of the internet trends, not the center of attention. She was reserved, well-groomed, behind-the-scenes support. But when the unexpected incident happened on September 10th, everything turned around overnight. From the woman behind the scenes, Erika became the center of the nation's attention. Erika's emotional images spread across social media. Words poured in from all over the conservative community, and within hours, people were calling her the new heart of Turning Point USA. But what the public saw wasn't what insiders whispered. Some said Erika was too calm. Some said her posts felt tightly controlled. Some even claimed she walked into important meetings before the memorial service even began. And when Candace Owens asked a direct question, why didn't Erika ask for clarification? Why didn't she ask for answers? The internet began to ask its own questions. Did Erika know more than she was letting on? Then the strange details emerged. Rumors of missing call records, researched security footage, and the sudden silence from federal agencies. The story, already unusual, was made even more tense by Erika being at the center, and Candace repeatedly asking questions. Because grief often silences people, but it's the prolonged silence that makes the public most suspicious. When Candace Owens spoke, she wasn't gentle, and she never was. She looked straight into the camera and said what no one else dared to say. According to Candace, everything that happened wasn't by accident. In her eyes, Charlie Kirk's death was more than just a tragedy. It was scripted, a story with layers, and too many unusual signs to be explained away in a simple way. Candace believed that only powerful hands could keep a story of that magnitude quiet. And within hours, her words had spread like wildfire. Millions of views, tens of thousands of comments. The internet was ablaze. Candace began pointing out irregularities in the investigation, gaps in the timeline, allegedly missing call logs, details erased from records, and what she called the trail of federal influence that was everywhere. She even questioned whether Charlie had been pressured because of financial arrangements or connections behind Turning Point USA that the public had never heard of. There was no evidence, just questions. But on the internet, that was enough to ignite an explosion. The reaction came like a tsunami. Candace's supporters called her the only one brave enough to speak out. Candace's critics, on the other hand, accused her of exploiting pain. Even in the conservative community, longtime allies began to split. Some defended Erika, others demanded a more thorough investigation. And then, the biggest blow came. Candace posted a single sentence on Twitter, a sentence that sent shivers down the spine of many. The feds know why Erika has been so quiet. Just one sentence. But it instantly turned the entire story around. What the public had once seen as pain now began to look like a cover-up. And in that moment, the story stopped being about Charlie's death. It shifted entirely to the larger question. What is Erika Kirk hiding? The day after Candace Owens' shocking video, whispers began to spread gently on social media. There were reports that the FBI was starting to look into the matter. At first, it sounded like an internet fabrication. But then little details emerged, things too obvious to ignore. A federal truck was seen outside Turning Point headquarters in Phoenix. A few unconfirmed reports said that federal agents had requested to see some internal emails. And suddenly, everyone with a voice was speaking out. According to sources close to the review, federal agencies were reviewing documents related to the Charlie incident. That phrase alone was enough to send shockwaves through the conservative community. Was this just a routine check, or had Candace Owens actually launched a large-scale investigation? No one can say for sure. The FBI, as expected, Meanwhile, Erika Kirk's world seems to be crumbling before the eyes of the public. Her every move is being watched. Every silence becomes a headline. She posts a simple Bible verse about faith, and within minutes, hashtags like #ErikaUnderReview are trending. Candace doesn't stop there. In her next post, she continues, "Federal agencies always go slow until they don't go slow anymore." And that statement resonates with the crowd, because now, this is no longer just an online theory. It's a story with momentum, with direction, with momentum. And for the first time, many people are asking questions that could change everything. What if Candace is right? When Erika Kirk finally emerged from the silence, no press release could have prepared her for what lay ahead. And what was coming wasn't a speech, nor was it a typical interview. It was a moment caught on camera. Erika stood at a fundraiser, embracing JD Vance in a long, emotional hug. No words, just a picture. But in today's social media culture, within hours, the hug became the focus of internet dissection. Some saw it as a comforting gesture. Others thought it was too intimate, even calculated. "That doesn't feel like a social hug," one account wrote. "There's almost zero physical distance." Then another account analyzed the details of the gesture. the hand on the hip, the hair-stroking gesture, things that don't usually happen in a casual greeting. And since JD is married, the question immediately arose. Is this gesture appropriate? Are they both sending a different message? The more people discussed, the more the story grew. Some skeptics even called JD Vance a carefully constructed image, claiming that his career was tied to major political forces. These were all just opinions and speculations from the online community, but they spread at a dizzying speed. Some quipped that JD was made to fit a perfect political role, and even talked about him pursuing an image of serving the common people while still maintaining ties to powerful groups. These speculations, though unsubstantiated, still sparked a series of hashtags. Hashtag Erika and Vance, #calculated compassion, #justice for Charlie. Each frame of the video was analyzed as a clue in a complex media scenario. When Erika finally spoke, her voice was calm but clear. She reminded that grief has no fixed path. It can come in different ways, without a pattern. The statement was honest, but it also sparked debate. Some said she was trying to avoid it. Some said she was defending something bigger, deeper. And as usual, Candace Owens didn't miss the moment. She posted a short message. Pain doesn't erase responsibility. Just one sentence, but enough to ignite a storm again. And once again, Erika's name was back in the news. This time, with the federal investigation in mind, because in the court of public opinion, emotions are not the focus. Perceptions shape the story. At that moment, in the public eye, Erika Kirk was no longer seen as simply a wife going through a loss. She became the center of a series of questions. What did she know, and why was she so silent? At this point, the story was no longer confined to social media. News outlets began to cover it. Some politicians were asked for their opinions. Turning Point USA quietly tightened its grip on the media. But despite all the noise, one thing remained the same: the FBI's silence. No press release, no confirmation, no denial. A single phrase repeated from official sources. The review is ongoing, and that's what turned things around. Because when the federal agency doesn't clarify, social media fills the void. Unverified screenshots circulate of supposedly unusual exchanges that took place during a sensitive time. Some point to a security glitch that prevented cameras at Utah Valley University from recording the entire night of the incident. Then there are rumors that some former Turning Point employees were interviewed privately. None of this is confirmed, but the timing is too perfect for the public to ignore. Even Candace Owens pauses for a moment. She hints that this may be a story bigger than one person can tell, and that some powerful people want her to keep quiet. Believe it or not, one thing is undeniable. Candace's suspicions have caused many people to start asking questions they never thought about before. In the eyes of some, the FBI's silence has inadvertently turned all the suspicions from a spreading hypothesis into a movement seeking answers. And at the center of that movement, the name that is mentioned most often is Erika Kirk. The weeks have passed, but the storm has not subsided. If anything, it has only intensified. Candace Owens has not retracted her position. Erika has not shared anything more. As for the FBI, continuing to remain silent, as if playing a long game. Every step they take, or fail to take, only deepens the public's suspicions. Some say Candace has gone too far, turning the loss into a story that attracts attention. Others say she's the only one who's dared to ask the tough questions. And in the middle of that debate, the question no one can answer. What really happened? Maybe Erika's silence is self-protection. Maybe it's fear, or, as some whisper, maybe it's strategy. Because when the federal agency starts to show up, when the media opens and closes its doors, and when the loudest voices become silent, that's often when the story gets more interesting. Candace even teased a part 2, saying there's a lot more information waiting to be released. True or not, no one knows for sure. But one thing's for sure, this story has the internet divided, captivated, and waiting for the next headline. And for Erika Kirk, until she spoke, every photo, every post, every moment of silence only created more questions. Because in a story built on silence, silence is the most resonant.
I happened to be there in Israel too.
And so I was on a pilgrimage with my mom in Israel, and I turned around and I saw someone who looked super familiar.
Let everyone see what true evil is. This is something that could impact a generation and generations to come.
Does anyone else think this is Erika Kirk putting in fake tears into her eyes Y'all, this Erika Kirk Israeli honeypot story just got way...
Welcome Mikey McCoy, Stacey Sheridan, Tyler Boyer, and Justin Strife.
We're so proud of Erika for stepping up so bravely into the role that she's now fulfilling. It's one thing to lose a loved one.